Hey folks, welcome to tonight's live stream. Let's talk about this new trend, because it is quite well defined. I need to record this, hold on. This one. Alright, so are we seeing a significant new trend, or are we oversold? That is the question we want to know. Right, so we actually do have a pretty good way of testing for true oversold conditions, and it's just if every single period of distributional width is above 0.9. Whenever that happens, there is at least short-term trend reversal, like we saw here, right? So just with regular wave PM, I can almost guarantee you that every time Bitcoin has had at least these 4 benchmark periods above the 0.9 value, which was here, and let's go back and find some, right? I haven't back tested this, or at least looked at this before the stream, right? All we want to see is every period above 0.9, and we'll just find a couple. And it's a pretty rare signal because, well, it's a pretty reliable signal, and if you have a consistent signal, well, it's not going to hit all that often, just the nature of market volatility. Beautiful. So we have, 3 examples? Let's find one more. Okay. Nope. All we want to see is every value above 0.9. Oh. Is that as far as the data goes back? February? Wow. Well, we don't get that signal very often, apparently. Nice. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at those vertical lines I drew. Not many of them, eh? All right. So, here is one. That one failed. Awesome. However, when you get this kind of move, you don't bet against it. If it happens in a single candle, a single 22% candle, you don't bet against it. That's pretty fair rule. If you have trend happening in a single candle, I'm not going to repeat myself. You know what I'm going to say. Anyway. However, the good news is when you actually do get that clean of an overexpansion, compression range is going to be quite significant, and you can bet on lateral trading for quite some time, which results in some pretty consistent trading. Up next is this right here. Beautiful. And that did lead to a short-term reversal. However, trend did not end until we re-entered the 1.25 standard deviation of that longest overexpanded period, which did end trend and result in mean reversion, which happened to be a lateral mean reversion, which really threw me off at the time, because we just got this technically still mean reverting condition where price continued to trend upward, at least from a layman's perspective, whereas still maintaining the mean reversion where the mean traveled up to meet price. And well, that really threw us off, and I just deleted the last line on accident, but that's fine. It was here, and that also led to short-term reversal, but still longer-term trend. And that's fine. So we actually have that trend active at this very moment. Right, if we take a look at this current chart, as long as we're outside of the 1.25 standard deviation, which is the edge of this purple band here, we can reliably bet on trend. So if price retraces currently at this very moment to 9,660, we could, in theory, take a very reliable short position off of that pivot, which is something I would personally look forward to, right? Hitting that value right there would be an excellent short opportunity, because if we enter the band, boom, we stop out, we switch to a long, and Bitcoin recovers fully. However, betting on trend continuation is always going to be your better option, as long as that trend is defined, and in this case it is, right? Just as we saw here, right, where we tested that band and we saw significant rejection, and then as soon as we entered the band, we saw significant mean reversion, right? And we can do this again and again and again, right? And most recently, we have this example where you would have won 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times in a row, right? And all of those are going to lead to at least 4% upside, 10% upside, another 5% upside, and then finally when you lose, oh, damn, I just lost 1%. So obviously, if the profit ratio is at least 5 to 1, there's really no reason to bet against it. And of course, as soon as you do activate the mean reversion condition, it eventually reverts to mean in this scenario with 3% downside. So these are really clean entries. Alright. And even without leverage, these are excellent positions. Right? If we do run up and test this 9,660 value, well, it's been on trend continuation. Maybe we'll see 8,500 for 8% downside. And now that I say that, it doesn't really seem all that far away. And I just want to point out the longer term pivot that we are seeing on this daily chart. Beautiful. Nice. So our 500 period 1.25 standard deviation is what we are currently using to define trend. And because of this, we've had 1 test, 2 tests, 3 tests, and now we finally broke it inside. We have a red candle close inside the band. That is pretty bearish implications. So really all we would expect is continued crashing price action, until, of course, we fulfill the mean reversion condition, or at least activate the mean reversion condition here on the 1 hour chart. So, stay short until we go inside this band at this very moment. Again, 9,660. When we do eventually return inside that band, awesome. Then you can bet on longer term upward trend. Until then, don't do it. It's not worth it. Shouldn't be long right now. We have an active downward trend. We have broken long-term daily support, and we have not seen a bounce off that value. If you want to take the most liberal estimate of downsides, we could possibly see 7,400. And yeah, I know I have had a bullish outlook for the last few weeks or months, if you want, but I will happily return to that bullish bias as soon as we activate this mean reversion condition. Which, I mean, really, it's $100 difference, guys. Right? I'm going to stay bearish until we go up 1.8%, or at least above that 1.8%, right? When we actually go up then I'll return to my bullish bias. But until then, active downtrend, broken support, no reason to bet against it, okay? It's a really simple chart. You should not be losing money tonight, right? We have an active downtrend. Either short the pivot or long when we go inside. That's it. I could not lay it out more simple for you. All right, if you just want to copy this line I'm about to draw, just draw this line here. All right, you can use a trend line if you want. It's a defined trend. It should work at least for the next 24 hours or 12 hours until I live stream next. Should work out just fine for you folks, really. It's a pretty predictable chart right now, because we're actually seeing this price action here for the previous downward expansion, if you feel like comparing, right? So, I hope that was helpful. Let me check the YouTube comments. I don't think there's anything. It's super late. Yeah, nobody's watching either. That's fine. I didn't expect anyone to at this hour. But when everyone wakes up, then we'll find this prediction is correct. So, with no further ado, I love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow at 1 p.m. MST. You have a beautiful afternoon, my friends. Ciao.